It is really hard to play FC24. This was the new franchise of EA and this is what we got. I cannot believe this is going to be the game all year that we have to play. FC24 being the most anticipated football game released by EA is a complete shambles when you try the game. The gameplay is really bad, with the game lagging and stuttering all over the place for PC players and even for the console players. The game lacks all type of quality control, and after trying the game for the first 10 hours, FC24, in my opinion, is a really bad game. Just like FIFA 23 and honestly every FIFA game running on the Frostbite engine. Despite all of that bad press, FIFA 23 was not that bad compared to their usual FIFA releases. The FIFA franchise has been so bad for so long that every year FIFA is in the worst of all time conversation. And now is primed to return with a new name, FC24. The FIFA franchise has not even approached the game properly since the good times back in FIFA 13 and FIFA 14. And you'd have to go back to FIFA 13 to find the last great FIFA. Since EA is the most popular developer when it comes to football games, the constant decrease in quality directly correlates because of a lack of competition. Even though Konami is putting in all the efforts, the game of football is ruled by the FIFA franchise. This game doesn't need to be any good, it just needs to exist because there is no competition. There is no other game. It will sell regardless because of, EA, who have completely monopolized the licensing and the ultimate team aspect side of the game. Almost nothing about the new game FC24 is new or improved. They have made sure that the game this year only looks good from the outside, but inside I am so disappointed when I tried this game that I feel like I will almost cry right now that I don't have a game to play all year. And it shows zero respect for the history of the sport it exclusively represents. And it is missing over 100 features found in previous FIFA titles, and it is a glitchy, bug-filled mess, and it does a worse job at simulating football with video games over a decade old. It is a polished copy of the game we've been playing since FIFA 17, and that makes me really sad. And did I mention that it runs poorly and lacks all quality control? FC24 is not good, and here is my review. I found it strange that women were included in the game, but it's not the first time we are seeing women in the game. The problem that people are facing is that they didn't like women being added in the same team and having more ratings than men. Anyways, that's not the main issue here. That's just one of the problems of this game. A lot of the pre-release press with the main marketing of EA this year was the new career mode. So what's new inside career mode this year? A mode that EA has neglected for more than a decade, which is now arguably the worst mode in all sports games. It's not about the menus, those are exactly the same. The new total management system was the new thing they added, where you can hire new coaches and delegate a task that they can use to improve the team. The problem with this system that it only looks good on paper, and mostly the tasks that you delegate to these members are upgrades on players that they were going through anyways in the previous years. So this is just an extra step where you just have to delegate tasks to upgrade your players, which was already happening eventually anyways, and now there's an extra step with hiring coaches and delegating them to improve your players. Don't get me wrong, this might be a very good mode, but just on paper. But the details required are not in place, and the system is mostly generic and bare bones. You get more slots for your team if you're someone like Man United, and if you're like a small club, you get like 5 slots for your team per coach, and these coaches give you boosts in stats in a specific area if used correctly. Okay, before you even start your manager mode, you create your own manager as you always did in the previous games. Well, this year there are more real life faces, but I do believe there are a lot of faces that they are missing, and the PC modding community would love to add it in again this year.
Considering this year you can also customize your manager's outfit with more hoodies and glasses, but it's mostly bare bones, and as I said, a lot of real manager faces are still not in the game, and the PC people will still be fine, but the console players is where the problem lies. Then after you create your manager, you have to create your own club, which is mostly the same again. The kit templates have refreshed a little more. There are some sponsors that you can put on your shirt, but there is no major changes to creator club, no detailed stadium creator, no branding, nothing when it comes to creating a new experience out of the mode. Which is extremely sad, because Create a Club was a mode that was really good back in the really old FIFAs, and the game has not adapted at all, changing the way the stadium creator works. Everything is just the same. Then there is this new tactical vision screen which you have to select every now and then, and it is very customizable, but it has its own limits. These are basically presets that you set on your team, and if you customize them too much, it gives you an error and states that it won't let your coaches grow in a certain XP, so you have to stay in the limit of what they are providing. So it's pretty much a set and forget feature that you won't be using every day. You have to set it once and then you basically forget that you have to set this kind of a tactical vision. Then there is a per player based mentality feature as well, where you have to change from energy focused and all out performance. It is quite intuitive. You can customize how your players sit on the bench and how the players that you generally used in your starting lineup are mostly energy focused, but mostly it does not impact the game on a daily basis if you play like week in week out. Then there is this new pre-match report feature where you see a screen and you look at the enemy team that you're about to face, you look at their tactics, what they're all about. But the problem is that most people will be skipping this screen because it pops up in front of you before the games, and I just see people just not caring at all about this. Then there is this new training thing where you can get temporary playstyles for the upcoming game, and you have to think very carefully about them because you can only apply one. But I do see myself being extremely bored of this mode because of these skill games that you have to perform again and again, and it gets extremely repetitive. It is a really nice feature, don't get me wrong, it's just the application of doing the same skill game again and again to get new playstyle for the next game. On paper it's really good, but I do see people getting bored of it because of its repetitiveness. Okay, now the big one, the Youth Academy has also changed, and the changes we are seeing here is basically a filter that you can use to scan your own youth talent, which was never the case, so that is one plus good thing, but otherwise the whole Youth Academy experience is the exact same since the last so many years, which is a big letdown. Okay, then there is this new spectator mode that you can use to control the team as a manager, but you don't really take part in the game. It's like just watching a simulation running in front of you. I didn't personally use this as much because I was more interested in playing the game, but I do see people who have this type of a fetish to look at a simulation running in front of you, so I do like that they've added this thing inside the game. But it is nothing major when it comes to changes to career mode. Then there is this new cinematic stuff in the game with the bus cinematics, the new ceremonies and everything that there is, which is a very good thing, and we always wanted this kind of stuff in the game. Ultimately, I would love to say that manager mode is definitely better than last year, but the problem is once you go inside the mode and you've spent an hour or so looking at the new things, it is just basically the same. There are no core changes inside the game that change the way we approach the mode, which I'm really concerned about. You know what? I'm not against them adding these features and adding skill games for playstyles and new manager and coaches, but I do believe this is a strategy to show that they have more depth in the game, but otherwise this is just filler content that makes you feel like there is more depth to the game, but rather there is not. Gameplay, however, I feel like is the only great part of FC24 because I feel like it has seen the most changes out of anything. Compared to FIFA 23, the gameplay is better, yes, but not by much. There's not a lot of new happening on the pitch, and if you hated FIFA 23's gameplay, you are gonna hate FC 24's gameplay as well. Passing is hit and miss as always. There are some new tackle animations that look nice, but there are also some awkward ones that take you out of the experience. FC 24, even though getting the motion capture done from the real games as they practice, still goes through foot sliding and players warping from left to right sometimes and not planting their foot or even flying sometimes, and sometimes even things like this happen on your screen. Sometimes it feels like a really unpolished experience, yet this is the 8th year of EA running FIFA or FC on their Frostbite engine. But for comparing it to the PlayStation 4 era of FIFA 17 to the FC 24 now, this is the best gameplay for FIFA it has ever been. And for once I can actually have some fun with it. Attackers actually make good diagonal runs, referees make better decisions, the left stick is somewhat responsive this year, and jockeying is really good in the game, and goalkeepers out of all the blue seem like they're really balanced. And I find myself overall less annoyed this time than usual. However, it is hard to feel these positive experiences if the experience is so unpolished all around. The numerous bugs inside the game, and still the awful physics engine sometimes completely bugging out on your screen. But the nature of gameplay of FIFA lacking its weight and basically favoring the pace all around is still there inside the game. If you really sit down and start breaking down each and every aspect of the gameplay, it will start feeling like nonsense, which it really is. This is not the exact copy of the sport we see in real life. Despite EA representing the main game of this sport, this is an arcade of its own. But if you don't go that close, it will be fun to score with your team and enjoy celebrating on your opponent like a douchebag. All the new playstyles and everything that has been added to the game add more layers when selecting players for your own team, and I will cover that later when we talk about Ultimate Team. But for the kickoff sides of things, playstyles are mostly locked for now, and they might be updated later. We are not sure about that. These icons are basically what chemistry styles used to do in Ultimate Team, but they segment the players and give them extra boosts. For now, I feel like they are slightly more than normal of what they're getting, but they definitely work. There's just not a gimmick. But I do feel like it will take a little while for all of us to understand each and every playstyle that they've added and which ones are the really broken ones that people can exploit. I feel like there is more room for exploitation now in the game because of these playstyles, but fingers crossed they can easily patch them, and hopefully this is a good thing for the game. The new gameplay camera that they've added in the game is really nice, and I did not see a reason to change it to any other camera. It was quite good, and I really like the way it handled things left and right. You can see how it angles towards the right when you move towards either sides of the pitch, and it's not even that zoomed out that you can't see anyone, so it is right there in the middle of the sweet spot, I would say, and the camera looks really nice. Talking about the new control sprinting mechanic, it is a little broken. When you hold this R1 and you dribble with it, you will see players not responding. The enemy team or the AI right now is a bit not working, but sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, so I'm not sure about this new feature. The control first touch and all of that, where you can turn around, take effort touches, is really good, but I don't see the casuals use it every now and then, but it is decent, not really groundbreaking. See, I believe that every FIFA game is the same. You just pick it up and play, but I don't feel like FC 24 is any different. It is going to be extremely FIFA-esque so that the players can migrate very easily and the new players can easily absorb the game. Pace, obviously the biggest problem of the game, does matter again, and the faster your players, the better they are. Especially when we talk about really rapid wingers like Vinicius Jr. And if you're using someone on the left wing and the striker position, pace will definitely make a difference. And I also want to talk about one big thing, the power shot playstyle, which is on some players like Haaland, and I guess it's on people who can shoot really fast. So that is a bit too much. It's too overpowered. Like, you're gonna see the speed of the shot rattle the net as if somebody launched a missile or something. And I feel like like there will be a nerf to this power shot animation. Whatever Haaland is using in his legs will definitely be nerfed. You do notice a lot of new hyper motion V stuff, but it's nothing major. It literally happens once or twice here and there. You're gonna see, oh, this animation was not inside the game, but yes, that's it. There's nothing like it has completely changed the game. It's just very minute, and you have to see that with very close eyes to notice that this is something new in the game. Moving over to the practice arena, which is a new thing this year, but I'm extremely excited to talk about this. You can finally pick your own stadium that you are playing in, and which was inside the game back in FIFA 16, but it's good to see that it is back in the game. And there is a new mode called Scenarios where you can just pick and place players and practice as much as you want, which I thoroughly liked because I really like practicing skills and scenarios that happened in the games. So that's really good for getting better at the game. Practice match is back, so if you have a girlfriend, she can learn the game easily there because there is no scoreboards, nothing, just football rules and just normal practice match. The only thing I would say that's a big plus point in gameplay that is a very big difference from FIFA 23 is the whole presentation sides of FC24. They have literally made sure that their game looks different rather than it feels different. So when you play this game, you're gonna see a lot of statistics appear on the screen, you're gonna see new menus, you're gonna see everything, and it looks very different. Keep in mind I'm saying looks, and it doesn't feel different. So that's one thing, that the presentation is definitely on point. There are proper halftime shows, full-time shows. You're gonna see a lot of cinematics play in the background of your menus, and it is everything that we always desired. Okay, now switching over to the big boy, Ultimate Team. Ultimate Team as a mode has lost 60% of its players every year, and less people play Ultimate Team every year according to the statistics, and it is mostly because of EA not taking action in the terms of what they have to do towards the game mode being extremely pay to win. But this year, boys, there is actually a thing called evolutions, which you can use to upgrade your gold players into better ones. And I must say, this is the only thing that I'm excited about this year because this has a lot of potential and there is no limit to where you can go with this thing. There's only one thing, that these evolutions are also pay to win, so you can buy them from the store with the FC points this year, or you can also buy them with coins. So there are tiers of evolutions that you have to pay for, and then they make changes to your player. But then again, they're not that expensive and they add more detail to the game, and they always change your current gold cards that you really love, so you don't have to let go of someone if they are a gold card and they do not fit in the meta anymore. So there you go, evolutions in Ultimate Team is definitely a very good aspect of the game. But there is a very big topic that I need to talk here. It's about women in Ultimate Team. See, before trying the game, I was really upset that they've added women, but when you actually start playing the game, when you actually buy players, and mostly people have accepted women in the game, right, you realize that they are just a bunch of new players. And that's what matters, because we always get bored of the same people. So mostly all of us barely know a single women's footballer. So it's really nice to see that we get new players this year that we have never seen before. The only argument that arises is that women are the same rating as men. I barely do not care about it at this point. There are some changes in the stats. Women have less balance and men have more balance in the game. So there is a differentiation they have done, but it's very minute. So women are available everywhere in draft, transfer market, packs, everything. And they are just normal players inside the game. Even the promos that are released in the game have mixed men and women, so watch out for that. Even though in the new presentation there is a new commentary team, they sound just like they're from a mobile game.
Here we can see it again, and a simple finish it may be, but it's all about the movement in the...
And the old commentary team is so irritating. If I hear one more time, and the goal almost bewitching on its beauty.
The goal almost bewitching in its beauty.
If I hear this one more time, I'm gonna smash my monitor. I'm so sick of hearing the same commentary again and again. There is literally voice AI right now, and why EA cannot fix their voices, I don't understand for so many years. There is a big problem with the FIFA franchise. They remove a feature, then they add it back, then they say this is a new feature, and then they keep repeating this again and again. You could add
stadiums in FIFA 16. It's back again. You could create a club back in FIFA 07 and it's back again. You had practice match all of those years from FIFA 05 to FIFA 14. They removed it and then they added it back. I feel like this is a pattern here. They're gonna remove features and then they're gonna add it back, saying this is a new feature. Oh yes, orbit dribbling was called no touch dribbling back in FIFA 16. So they removed it and now guess what? They've added it back. Another thing I hate about this year is the soundtrack. It is a very Gen Z type playlist. FIFA soundtracks used to be the vibe, but now it's just blatant catchy TikTok songs that are inside the game that do not present the vibe or the culture of the game that we used to have back in the day, man. After spending so much time in the game now, I can say the overall experience of the game lacks any type of personality or any type of newness inside the game. You guys might be thinking that I'm just roasting the game. You have no idea how passionate I am when it comes to FIFA. I want this game to be the best out there. I want EA to listen to us and really understand what we really need. But there is one section that EA did do right this year, and that is pro clubs, or clubs as they say it this year. That is the best experience I've had in clubs since I guess back when it was introduced like 10 or 20 years ago or something. Pro clubs this year is the place to be. You can customize your pro with 6 playstyle slots. You can add a playstyle plus. The thing is crossplay. You can play with anyone out there. You can create a team from your drop-in matches, which I loved, because if I play a drop-in match, the players I join, they join back again and again and again, creating a good friendship. Your club goes through a league section like it always used to, but there are only 5 divisions now, and then there is a playoff season where you qualify and then you have to fight like a weekend league or a foot champions at the end of every season. And you're not just doing this for no reason. You get currency from it, which is called the fans and reputation. You get trophies from it. You can customize your stadiums. You can put the trophy on the stadium. I mean, there are many features that the community has expected, like getting subbed on mid-game, trying to reconnect back into the game, a lot of things that the game lacks. But to be honest, Pro Clubs is the only place in this game that I can say is a new game. But otherwise, I don't see a reason why I should praise them. Playing this game is a struggle sometimes. What I am noticing is that what they have done is they have captured the real life motions of players. But notice closely, when you look at the animations of players, they are very wonky. Mbappe is running very weird. Players are sliding left to right. There's some really random stuff going on with players' limbs going inside each other, and the animation engine was way better back in FIFA 15. This is more complex stuff that their Frostbite engine is not getting right or something, but the game looks very weird up close. FC24 is a really rough game. It is not that different from the last year's game. Besides playstyles becoming the new traits now, and evolutions definitely adding a lot of layers when it comes to Ultimate Team, and they've changed clubs finally after so much request from the community. The problem with this game is that it feels like a roster update with a couple of tweaks, which the name FC24 did not live up to, because this was a new franchise. Remember, FC24 cannot afford this route on development because their core game needs so much work. The gameplay is cheesy fun at best, and sometimes there is some really stupid things happening, and somehow the menu navigation around the whole game are very slow. Career mode is incredibly shallow and it misses so many new features. There is still not a single way to create your own stadium. There is still no integration with the real brands. And then we have Volta, which is another waste of time that nobody plays. And the game's overall presentation is so polished from the outside, but when you open up the main menu and you go inside the kickoff, back again, it's the same menu from last year, and last year they just changed the menu that is outside, not the inside, with the same commentary team and even worse commentary team with them, an insane number of bugs and glitches I encountered while playing the game, and a lack of attention to detail all around. It is difficult sometimes to get immersed inside the game.